Well, hey there, folks. Happy New Year. What's going on? Lexicon Tom here, and I am here to get back into the swing of things. Here, we're going to talk about some vocabulary, pronunciation, maybe a few corrections also from a student. Back to a weekly roundup type format. I'm going to do some things like this. And now we're back into study mode. So here we go. Student J. He is from Portugal, so he'll have some Latin-based mistakes or confusions or cognates between Portuguese and English, and we might see those as well. So he came to me with the phrase "easy come, easy go." And we had to discuss the meaning of it because he didn't have it quite right. So something that can disappear just as quickly as it can appear. So something like a relationship, some possessions, objects, things like this. So for example, things are fleeting. Things don't last forever. As quickly as they come, they can just as easily disappear. It makes me think of the Queen song, Bohemian Rhapsody. He says, "Easy come, easy go." And look it up. Go ahead. Look it up in Youglish. Find out some natural speaking patterns from Mr. Freddie Mercury. He has a very classic British pronunciation. So, anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about harsh and rough. These are some interesting words and really, really helpful to discuss things more in depth. So, at face value, at the surface, harsh and rough are used in a lot of similar ways. For example, sorry, the camera moved. Be careful. Harsh and rough on the surface are very, very similar. They have a very similar meaning to the opposite of smooth in a way. So smooth is, calm. It's very easy. It's very soothing. It's very something or other. Harsh we use with weather, with climate, with the environment. So harsh climate, like the desert, is a very harsh climate. You can be harsh on a person. This is real common. Harsh on a person. So I was very harsh on my friend for doing something. Harsh words. Ooh, that was a bit harsh. That's pretty common to say. If someone says something really rude, oh, that's a bit harsh. You can also deal out harsh treatment for your phrasal verb. Deal out harsh treatment. To deal out. They suffered a harsh blow. Oh man, they suffered a harsh blow. Rough. They suffered a harsh blow. They faced the harsh reality. Sometimes you have to face the harsh reality of life. Face the harsh reality. Let's talk about rough. Rough is more like rough terrain or a rough surface. Very similar, but a little bit different to the harsh environment, harsh climate. Terrain, surface. Rough outline, rough idea, right? A general idea, not exactly developed. It's very raw. This is a rough draft, a rough idea, a rough outline. Or if I want to give you a rough estimate, that's the best I can do. It's not exact, it's not accurate, but it's a rough estimate. Oh, I just thought of another phrase. Give me a ballpark number. What does that mean? To give me a ballpark number, it is a baseball term, I think. It's talking about a number, giving an idea it's general. It's in the ballpark. It's not the most accurate number, but it's the best we can do. It's in the ballpark. So ballpark, give me a ballpark number. How many people are in the stadium? 50 million. Or 50,000, sorry. How many people are in the ballpark? 50,000. It's a ballpark guess. It's a ballpark estimate. It's a rough estimate. All right? Rough around the edges. Someone can be rough around the edges. That means they're a little bit spiky. They're not the most friendly. They're not the most talkative. At first glance, they come across as a little bit rough around the edges. It would have to be a cheaper one. It would have to be a cheaper one. It would have to be a cheaper one. This is some linking right here. Here we go. It would have to be. This comes from our phrasal verb dialogue, so if you don't know this one, you'll probably see it soon. It would have to be a cheaper one, right? This is classic reduction. Have, be, has to be a cheaper one. It has to be a cheaper one. It would have to be a cheaper one. Have, cheaper. Have, cheaper. It would have to be a cheaper one. It would have to be a cheaper one. This is linking. It would have to be a cheaper one. It would have to be. Notice, would have to be. Because of the H, it's very common for me to say, it would have to be. It would have to be. We drop the H is reduced. You can also say the H, it would have to be. It would have to be. But notice how linked it is. It would have to be a cheaper one. That is what you're going to listen for. So give that a try. It would have to be. It would have to be. It would have to be a cheaper one. Dumbed down. Dumbed down. Dumbed down is a simplified explanation, a simplified version, not too complicated for us laymen. A layman is someone who is not of the church, so not part of the clergy or not part of the church hierarchy. So you're just a layman. You're nobody. You don't know anything. That is a layman. So sometimes we'll say, okay, expert, engineer, biomedical engineer, give me an explanation in layman's terms so that I can understand. That is what layman's terms is. In a nutshell. So I'm going to talk about in a nutshell very, very soon because it comes in a new video. But basically a nutshell is, in a nutshell, explaining something in a nutshell means that you are doing it as simplified as possible. Maybe to save time, maybe because the person is uneducated on the topic and you have to, in a nutshell, explain something in a nutshell. Okay, step in. My student Jay had to step into a new role, a temporary position, but he had to step in. They asked him to step in to this position, which means to assume a role or assume a position or to take charge of a position in a transitional way. That's what we're talking about, in a transitional way. And that often comes with step in. He stepped in at the moment because they needed him. But you can just as easily step down, all right? That is the opposite down. He stepped down. The president stepped down, for example. The resigned stepped down. So they needed a person to fill in the position, right? So this really often applies to stepping in. When you step in, it's because, if someone is in need, you need to fill in the position temporarily until they find a suitable candidate for the role. So he told me he was having second thoughts about this. Why? Because his first thought was, yes, I will do it. I think this would be okay. I can do this and it's not going to be a problem. But his second thought was, maybe I wasn't prepared for this. So, alas, he has to finish the time he committed to, and then he will most likely step down and give the role to somebody else. So that is to have second thoughts, to question your first thought. Nobody bat an eye. Nobody bat an eye. Nobody paid any attention. Nobody noticed. Nobody reacted. Like, shocked or, made a reaction to whatever it was, like a comment or an event or something like this. My coworker shows up late to work all the time and nobody bats an eye. But if I try to get to work early and leave early, everybody loses their minds. All right? So if anyone catches that, this is a very similar phrase and line, and also a meme from the Joker in Batman. He says something very similar. You can look it up and find the exact quote, but everybody loses their minds for something, but they don't bat an eye for other things. They don't make a reaction. They don't complain. They don't rebel. Nobody bats an eye. Your food is ready. Your food is ready. Well, what does this mean? So, your food is ready is the proper way to say it, but we have several reductions of this phrase. Your, of course, is a your, of course, is a function word. So, your is never really emphasized, stressed. Your food is ready. Your food is ready. A lot of you have problems with the R. It's very natural. A lot of us have problems with the R. And a lot of you try to overcompensate and really try to pronounce the R. But this makes you sacrifice your speed, your rhythm. And what I would want to see more is you to say your, if you can use the R. But if it's hard and you end up making an extra syllable, your, something like that, it's really not going to help you. It's not going to help you. Your or yeah. And that's what I was explaining to Jay. When we speak, a lot of sounds become the schwa. Yeah. For, f. We really reduce it. Your food is ready. If you said your food is ready, nobody would bat an eye. Everybody would say, okay, he said your food is ready. There's only one answer for this. Your food is ready. So this is an example of reduction, not having to pronounce the R. If you reduce the sound to a schwa, everybody understands you. For, f. This is for you. This is for you. This is better than saying for you or something like this with a strong R. I'm not trying to make fun of any of you who roll your R's. R, a lot of speakers do. But I'm just showing you for you. For you. Get rid of that R if you're having trouble with it. And your food is ready. This is for you. Sounds really natural. And you can get by like that. All right? So let's keep going. We're almost finished for the day. Sing-songy. What is sing-songy? Well, sing-songy is what you would describe a language that is very... we were talking about Brazilian Portuguese and how it was sing-songy. I agree. I think it's much more of a up and down, rising intonation. People from Medellin, Colombia are known to be sing-songy. And I would put the Italians up there with sing-songiness. They definitely have, definitely can speak like that. Maybe it's by region. Some are more sing-songy than others. I would imagine that is the case. So if there's any Italians watching, I don't think I have any current Italian students, but yeah, let me know. I'm happy to see about that, or I would love to know about that. Shorten, glottal stop. Shorten. Shorten it a little bit. Shorten it a little bit. Look at this ridiculous spelling, right? Why would I spell it like this? Well, I'm trying to show you how the reduction and the linking create new words. When I say this word, I shortened it a little bit. I shortened it. Oh, sorry. I shortened it a little bit. 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 New word for you, my friends. Shortened it a little bit. Shortened it a little bit. All right, guys. Break time. You know what time it is now? I'm going to try something We've all seen it. So I'm going to try to have some fun with you. I think that, you know, what we do in class is really awesome. We get to practice our tongue movements, our ticka ticka tickas together. But it's really, really important that you guys do this on your own. And so in order to do this, we have to get you thinking about it. And you can see some of my activities to give you a model so that you can practice yourself. So, of course, like I said, some of you, we've been talking about ticka 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 ticka. Try to do that as much as possible every day because we have so many figured it out. Or, as we just saw, I shortened it a little bit. I shortened it a little bit. It requires that rapid tongue movement, all right? This one is about function words, right? Function words and speaking in rhythm. So I got a story for you. We're going to start with the 3 content words. Bears ride bikes. Because who doesn't want to see a bear riding a bike? Bears ride bikes. So let's see if we can get the metronome going. Bears ride bikes. The bears ride bikes. The bears ride the bikes. The bears can ride the bikes. The bears can ride the blue bikes. But they can't ride the red ones in the dark. But they can't ride the red ones in the dark. But they can't ride the red ones in the dark. Notice how every time we add more words, it still remains the same time. The bears can ride the bikes. The bears can ride the blue bikes. But if you think the bears can ride the bike, but if you think, take a look at that. But if you think, but if you think, but if you think, look at that linking. But if you think the bears can ride the bikes, but if you think the bears can ride the bikes, but if you don't think, look at that. But if you don't think about how fast it requires your brain to register that if I'm speaking, right? Think about how you need to process this in your head. But if you don't think, it's so fast. So try it in your head. But if you don't think, but if you don't think, but if you don't think. And remember, there's a stop T in me. You don't have to, but if you don't. But if you don't. But if you don't think. But if you don't think. But if you don't think the bears can ride the bikes. But if you don't think the bears can ride the bikes. So let's talk about these bears. If these bears can ride the bikes, it doesn't matter if the bears can ride the bikes. Right? It doesn't matter. But if you're not sure if the bears can ride the bikes, then you should think about doing a more thorough analysis. But you should think about doing a more thorough analysis. Then you should think about doing a more thorough analysis. And get back to me if you figure out why this is the case. And get back to me if you figure out why this is the case. And get back to me if you figure out why this is the case. Bears ride bikes. The bears ride bikes. The bears ride the bikes. The bears can ride the bikes. The bears can ride the blue bikes. But they can't ride the red ones in the dark. But they can't ride the red ones in the dark. But if you think the bears can ride the bikes. But if you don't think the bears can ride the bikes. But if you don't. But if you don't think. But if you don't think. But if you don't think. That's how it's linked. But if you don't think. So the first word we're hitting is think. But if you don't think. But if you don't think. Slow it down. You don't have to do 90 beats per minute. This is roughly what native speakers will go. But if you don't think. Slow it down. All right, let's turn down the old metronome a little bit. But if you don't think. But if you don't think. But if you don't think. All right. But if you don't think the bears can ride the bikes. But if you don't think the bears can ride the bikes, then you should think about it doing a more. Then you should think about doing a more thorough analysis. Then you should think about doing a more thorough analysis. Thorough analysis. That's hard. There's a lot of content words there. But Like I told you, we have to link it. We have to really stretch these syllables and also shrink more. When we have, for example, more thorough analysis, that's 3 content words. They're equally getting emphasis. Then you should think about doing a more thorough analysis. Then you should think about doing a more thorough analysis. A more thorough analysis. So notice, we have to think about where the pauses are, where the connections are. Get into this rhythm. So now you have a little practice. So take 3 content words, start there, and just add different function words. I don't like to work. I work today. I kind of work today. I don't want to work today. I don't want to work today. Pick three content words. You add content words, you have to speak them faster. This is the formula. Get used to it. So find 3 content words, make one, and show me in class, all right? Well, that was all for me today. Make sure to keep working, get on those good habits, and I'll see you next time.